Factor the quadratic. So first of all, we need to know that it is a factorable one. Is this written in standard form? If I solve for x right here, this would be where x would generate a 6. That's what I would be finding. If I found out what x is I'd get right here, it would be what x generates a 6 because it equals 6. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. But we need to find the x-intercept, so therefore I've got to move it to the other side. Now, one common thing that I hear discussed through students through different work or different tests is we never worked one like that. Okay? If I literally worked a problem like every one of the ones at Factor, we would never go home. Ever. I think that's what eternity looks like. We would just continue working problems, working problems, working problems. If I had to work one that looked exactly like every one of them that you need to work, and that would just be impossible. Because there's going to be something that happens right here that I'm going to do, and you're going to go, well, we never did one like that. Well, it doesn't mean it wouldn't work without doing this, but it shortens and makes some of our numbers smaller. Okay? So, I want to practice one more time. We're going to do the discriminant of this. We can't take the discriminant until it's in standard form. And so, therefore, since it is, we're going to go ahead and we're going to find the discriminant, which is negative b minus 4 times a, which is 3, and c, which is negative 48. Okay? What's 18 squared? Anybody? Huh? 324. Okay. What is 4 times 3 times 48? Don't do the negative 4. Don't do negative 4. Ma'am? Negative 576, correct? Or did you do the negative 4 times it? Okay, you did 4 times 3 times negative 48. So it's negative 576, correct? All right, and so that would make plus plus. What's 324 plus 576? 900. Okay. What's the square root of 9? First of all, is 900 a whole number? Is it positive? So we're going to have how many x-intercepts? 2 of them. I want to find out if I can factor this or solve this by factoring. What kind of number is 900? Huh? Is it a perfect square? What's the square root of 900? 30. So if it comes out to be a whole number, it's a perfect square, correct? So this would be 2 rational roots. Irrational is if it came out to be a decimal. Okay? Once again, that's like question number 24 on your test. Now then, so we're going to factor it. All right? And so in there, I can go ahead and I can start factoring this. So we worked one like this that had a coefficient higher than 1. And we would take the 3 and we would multiply it to the 48 right there. And then we would find out what numbers multiply to give me this and what numbers add to give me this. But before I do that, what's the GCF between all 3 of those numbers? 3. So I can simplify this, and now what happens is, okay? Now, don't take this the wrong way, but being in an Algebra 2 class, GCF is a concept that's way down there that we need to be able to bring with us to recognize. I shouldn't have to talk about the GCF. We should be able to see that. And I would prefer at this point go, isn't 3 common between them all? You tell me that instead of me having to bring this up. Okay, and what I assumed is most of you probably just put this in your calculator, find the zeros, and didn't write the factor form, and that's the part of the question you missed, and so on and so forth. But if I factor the 3 out, I'm left with x squared minus 6 minus 6 or 6x minus 16. Correct? All right. And so now I'm not dealing with this big number 48, or I'm not dealing with a 3 on my leading coefficient for A. I'm just dealing with 16 and negative 6. And so therefore I say what multiplies to give me negative 16 and adds to give me negative 6. What are those numbers? All right, we got negative 8 and 2, negative 8 and 2. Does that check off for both of those? It does. So now we can go back and we can replace the 6. And once again, I'm keeping the 3 with me. You need to keep bringing it down because you'll see where it'll play a role here in just a minute. Okay, bringing it down. And so I'm going to have x squared minus 8x minus or plus 2x minus 16. Okay? What's common between x squared and 8x? X is, correct? And therefore I have x minus 8. What's common between 2 and 16? What number? 2. And so that leaves me x minus 8, which is what I wanted. And so my factored form is 3 x plus 2 and x minus 8. That's my factored form of all this. Now to find the zeros, because this still equals zeros, 3 equals 0, x plus 2 equals 0, x minus 8 equals 0. Okay? So this doesn't happen. X3 will never equal 0. So that's why it doesn't show up as one of the roots, because that's impossible. Alright, so my roots is negative 2 and positive 8. All right.